America. Welcome to Third Eye Knowledge. You are with the messenger. Tonight's video is going to cover the $3 trillion bill. I wanted to give the American people the conscious perception of update, and we're going to talk about Bill Burr's termination and what led up to it. So McConnell is saying there's going to be like 90% chance of a $3 trillion bill being passed, but the problem is, America, he says all the time in this, it's going to be costly. He agrees with the feds, the federal government and Treasury, that it will be costly. There's a lot of absurdities in it, according to McConnell. It's not like, to me, they're absurdities. We have cannabis companies. And the cannabis companies evidently were passed for, medical, medicinal use. So, yes, they're going to be looking for a bailout or some kind of federal assistance through the coronavirus crisis. And jobs are not mentioned. Like jobs like me, for example, America. Like I told you, I'm a laid-off mechanic and laborer. My wife is an essential employee, and restaurants are also worried about the layoffs, and they're not getting any money. And some of the jobs in this country, if you do your research, America, there's 6 companies that left the East Coast, and they've packed it up for good. They went out of business. So that's why I personally don't understand the $3 trillion bill. And now I'm not agreeing with the right. They're not absurdities through any way, shape, or form. These are still people that were working for a weekly paycheck or salary or what have you. And this $3 trillion bill is only covering a couple types of employment. Selling bud legally. It's really not an absurdity to me. They've turned it into a medicinal necessity as long as you have a medicinal marijuana card, which through my research, 40% of this country has medicinal marijuana cards. But as we continue, he's begging for us to go back to economic activities, in his words, sacrifice our lives. But again, give the companies 100% liability, because already, some of you guys out there, I wish you didn't file lawsuits. I wish you didn't. Because at the end of the day, why are you going to file a lawsuit with your company when you should be filing a lawsuit with the federal government, which is nearly impossible to do? But that's just the example. That's just another perception. I'm a laid-off mechanic. I go wherever you want tools to go with me, and I fix your vehicle for a flat rate. I want to sue the federal government because they'll let Elon Musk fucking run his little pussy fucking bullshit while us grease monkey mechanics, the working class community, relies on us to fix your vehicles because we're not going to fuck you, and we're going to make sure most of the time, most of us will make sure your job is done correctly and make sure it's done safely. Because if I'm fixing my vehicle, I want to stop, I want the fucker to start, and I want the fucker to shift right. So that's just one of the examples. I wish I could sue people, but I don't understand that part, but I'm going to look into it for the American people to better clarify how they got 771 lawsuits. But if you know, feel free to drop a comment down below. It's all about debate. Debate leads to knowledge, and knowledge is an addiction that's an acceptable addiction. Now, as we continue, he says that there's a 90% chance that you will continue to see this $3 trillion bill approved. It's just they're not prepared to set the date. On the subject of schools, McConnell commented on schools. He wants these fucking schools open. So as a parent of a toddler, I'm going to comment very passionately. I'm deathly afraid of my kid getting Kawasaki syndrome. Deathly afraid of that. Now I could go off calling everybody rash patties and zip heads and shit like that, but I wanted to comment on this video very quickly on what we've been seeing. I don't blame anybody for nothing, okay? I'm a very conscious individual. I'm fully aware that ethnicity and culture has nothing to do with the said situation anymore, as well as bipartisan politics as far as I'm concerned. Let's do these public schools differently. I want to see more space in these classrooms. I don't want to see my kid trapped at home on a fucking computer. I don't. I'm old school to a T. And giving a children a chance to make friends, and also in these schools as they get older, they should be having social classes that teach them how to, teach our students and our children to interact in life and how to solve problems without being a fucking lazy motherfucker or being a rat bastard to the boss. We should be teaching our kids how to lead themselves while they're making acquaintances. I do want to see the schools open, but I don't want to see the schools opened under 85,000 deaths, and that's all I'm going to say. So 85,000 deaths and Kawasaki syndrome is becoming quite prominent, and I follow my health experts, unlike Trump. Don't believe the experts. No, I'm not wrong with Trump. But let's continue. He states he's comfortable, and he states that he's a yearning to get us all back to safely engage in our jobs. Again, America, this is a perfect opportunity for the working people to somehow go back to work and hopefully set up some kind of a deal with PPE. Now, America, I encourage, you're not going to get the federal government's help after this is all said and done. I know the progressive community knows this, and the left community as well, but most of our bosses, I know my wife's boss personally, I'm not saying yes or no, but most likely he's a right-winger, he's a Trump supporter. But I don't support sending our people back to work with no PPE, with no liability. We do need to encourage ourselves to go back to work and pick up the slack on this one because, again, America, you're dealing with Trump administration. You're dealing with Big Brother. And Big Brother is watching you, but he'll straight fuck you. He don't give a shit about you. He only gives a shit about the public sectors and the money makers. So I encourage the American people, once you go back to work, to try to do your best to set up something with your bosses. So on that note, it's a parade of absurdities. And I don't understand McConnell to begin with. Jobs we work under, the bill is not geared towards everyday necessary employment. So, to sum it all up from my conscious perception and just a very aware response to the American people, you might get something, but America, please don't get used to those phase 3 and 4 federal grants. They're not going to come. And if they do come, they're only going to be either for public sectors, VIP states that Trump's, the swing states for Trump, the VIP selects, the endorsers of Trump. That's what these bills are really going to cover. And a couple pot shops, which you just go up the street and get a 20 bag, So from somebody that used to dabble in the herb, being the next heroin addict of 5 years clean, I don't see a point of supporting them. Just from my personal experiences of my life endeavors, I've been a salesman of a lot of select items, and that's an item that you can make the money back on yourself, guys. Come on now. Go off the grid. You can make the money back. Don't depend on the federal government for that. Don't let them be using you as an excuse to sell cannabis. That's what you guys look like, to let you know. McConnell's out there telling all the cannabis shops for medicinal marijuana cards, and I've seen it help people, that Mitch McConnell is literally going on TV, on CNN and Fox, you guys, and making you guys look like drug dealers. So I wanted to say that. Go get that money back and find a way that you could sponsor yourselves without having McConnell make you guys look out to be the bad guys. That's what he's doing, America. He's making everybody look like a bad guy or needy or some kind of bum, and it's not right. So let's move on to Dr. Bright and Bill Burr. This is an interesting situation. The White House was not prepared for a vaccine, and they're still not prepared for a vaccine. I guess they checked in today. One of the statements that Dr. Bright last made was Jared Kushner had no idea about the vaccine. They never kept up with trying to come up with an idea. That's why Dr. Bright was pushed out the door. They are not focused on a vaccine, America. Even Dr. Fauci will most likely come through telling you that very soon, if he hasn't already. There's no observation, and Mitch McConnell spoke on that because he didn't realize that he was making an empty-minded observation. So to call out Mitch McConnell, you're going to tell Obama to keep his fucking mouth shut, but you're commenting on a gentleman you had no idea the situation of. You're fucking stupid. Senator Burr pulled himself off the chair because, unfortunately, he's under investigation for Russian collusion of 3 years. And that's nearing the investigation also, America, is being near completion. And Russia was trying to help Trump's election. So evidently, to sum up the truth, America, there's Russian collusion. Mitch McConnell is a lying sack of shit. He doesn't give a shit, and he's only interested in the public sectors and the extreme right-wing and Trump supporters. So to end and conclude the video on a conscious perception and conscious awareness, the awareness of my being clearly states to the American people, I do this every day. And my wife supports it because through my public service, through being homeless and helping people and getting to shake the hands of all these people who are truly going behind my back, I've done a lot of work in Boston. I still run a 600 head man connection to help the people, the homeless people of Boston, give them things to do. I still get phone calls from the organization all the time, helping children, keeping people safe, because unfortunately Boston cops are being laid off like fucking hookers in the street because they can't get the money. There's not enough money to pay them. All right? So if a right-winger does come across this video, and you don't like it, just out of respect for other people in my community. Because I don't go all over the internet calling people fucking crazy and calling every single Trump supporter a Ku Klux Klan member or every right winger a fucking racist public sector fucking person. I don't do that because I honestly, there's some right wing people out there that, okay, they have their beliefs, but they're not out there disrespecting people. They're calling Trump out on their stupidity too. And we need to remember this going into the new world, that progression and positive thinking should be the new order of the day. Take racism out of your head. That's the way the colonizers 700 years ago, when they discovered this country, programmed the people. I'm just white, you're just black, you're just yellow. That's the colonizer. That's them. That's the Trump administration, to be truthfully honest with you. And I want to call the American people out to tell us that we are better than that. And we will definitely need to start muscling up in our community soon if we cannot get into the inside of this government and dismantle it and rebuild it. Because that's what it's going to take to get this country back where it is more than capable of going. So I hope everybody enjoys this evening's broadcast. I wish you nothing but peace and love. Stay conscious, stay healthy, and stay aware. I'm out. Peace and love.